Hi, Jimmy Akena. You are officially running to contest as the presidential candidate for your party. You are a parliamentarian. And last time I saw a massive crowd during your campaign. And I was wondering, is Jimmy Akena ready to wrestle power from longtime Ugandan President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni?
Jimmy Akena is more than ready. Jimmy Akena has a lot of support, as you're able to see. But most unfortunately, Yoweri Museveni has put an obstacle in Jimmy Akena's path. So I am not at this stage on the ballot. I am fighting to be restored on the ballot, but I'm not on the ballot. But as you saw, I was on the ground making sure I have my candidates at different levels, parliament and local government, where I am pushing to make sure that they also succeed. But as for Jimmy Akena is still waiting at the start line in order to actually begin campaigning for the presidency.
But do you think you have what it takes if the decision is made to be on the presidential ballot box or ballot paper to win? Because this is not their first time, or as they say in America, this is not your first rodeo. What will be different if Ugandans decide to choose you?
Now, how I approached this election was look at it in real terms. Where the party has strength, what I can leverage out of that strength, and what is achievable. So the initial objective in this election was, can we find a pathway where we can make sure that we can get enough votes to deny Yoweri Museveni the 50+1, which is in the constitution that if one candidate does not get 50+1 in the first round, you go to the second round. Now, my purpose on that one was to be able to have an honest conversation on the future of Uganda. Right now, we have an unrealistic reality, as you even put it yourself, that Yoweri Museveni towers over everything. But we can get into a situation whereby we can have an honest conversation and start charting a future which involves all the component parts of the body politic of Uganda. So that had been my focus. And when it became apparent that it was achievable, then a lot of things started happening. Things started going wrong. All sorts of things were taking place until eventually, at the last moment, I was knocked off. I am still in court trying to get my name back on. But that's the reality of it. Mine was a two-step issue. Let's have a real conversation on the future of Uganda, and then possibly next time round we can have now a much better democratic process, which is more inclusive of the different political players.
You talked about hurdles placed on your path, but do you think you have what it takes to surmount or get over those hurdles and perhaps become the next president of Uganda?
I am determined to get through those hurdles. I'm determined to fight my way through. It has not been easy. It is not being made easy. But this is something which I feel we must do. We must be able to move ahead as a country which is more united and with a generation which is, let's say, perhaps born after maybe some of historical burdens which some people pretend to carry or hope to push on to next generation. But it's our time now. I mean, this is we are here on the scene, so we have to do something which works. We don't have a choice. I mean, there's not waiting.
What do you say? What do you say, Mr. Akena, to people who are of the view that there are too many opposition political presidential candidates, and that having a conversation of a real alliance with one single candidate could give you the best shot of defeating longtime President Yoweri Museveni? Have you given it a thought, or would you even think about engaging other political rivals that you have, knowing very well that you have a similar objective, which is to wrestle power from the National Resistance Movement, the ruling party?
The truth is, I've engaged all the major political players across the political parties, and I've also engaged Yoweri Museveni. Because mine have always been on the issue of dialogue. I've been ready to engage all political players. Now, on the question of this election, when I engaged with the other opposition players, is with a 50+1, the first round is not a problem. Everybody can go and get whatever votes. When you deny the 50+1, it will be the top two candidates. So automatically, the opposition candidate which you're trying to put forward will emerge out of that process. And this comes out because not all votes are transferable. There may be somebody who wants to vote for me, but if I say vote for another candidate, they may not be willing to do so. that vote would have been on this particular case. But when it comes to second round, it is a different scenario. So mine was speaking across all the political players and trying to tell them there's no need to attack each other. Let us go out, present our case. Where we get enough numbers, we will be forced by the electorate to go back and have a second take on this. And in that second take, we must try to galvanize and try to do things which will bring us together and forge a future which will put everybody together. I mean, all the players together, essentially.
What is Jimmy Akena's key or core message to the people of Uganda, and is your message really resonating?
My message is resonating because I come from a history of commitment and service in the politics of Uganda, and a historical basis on that as well. And the areas where my party has shone throughout history was in areas of education, health, and agriculture, which, being a very rural country, those are the key areas which touch almost everybody's lives.
So let me ask you about, is your message resonating among the
It's
people?
definitely resonating. I am not a newcomer into politics. I'm a 4-term MP. I have been able to galvanize in the recent by-elections. My party has been doing very well, so we have a momentum in a particular area. And there are some issues which are pertinent to particular regions. For example, northern region, we've suffered a long period of war. There's been loss of livelihoods through loss of the cattle. So there's a lot of areas where we definitely resonate. And mine has been to deliver a message, even if there's a historical injustice, but to deliver it in a way whereby you're not trying to amplify the wounds of the past, but try to find healing and try to find ways in which we can sit down together and forge a common destiny. Because ultimately, we're all Ugandans and we have to remain in Uganda. How we deal with our politics is how to work best. And definitely the UPC policies are working well.
Ms. Akena, in previous elections, all opposition political parties expressed concern about what they say the lack of transparency and credibility of the electoral process, including the declaration of the outcome of the elections. So people ask, why do you even contest when you lack confidence in the ability of the Electoral Commission of Uganda to administer free, fair, transparent, and credible elections in Uganda? Why bother, they say? Your response?
My response is, if you leave the field, who do you leave it to? There are some political actors who I see on the scene who have no scruples, no morals, and are just out to take what they can take. And when they do that one, the citizens of Uganda will suffer. The poor people of Uganda will suffer. And yes, we know the ground is not level. Everything is not working for us. But we can't, at least some of us cannot abandon the people. It's a difficult circumstance. Yes, not a credible election, but at the same time, you cannot be completely absent. You have to offer leadership. You have to try to make the best of a worst situation. Definitely, I'd love to see a properly democratic process, but it's not the case. And when we're going to elections, you're going on the basis that they're going to try to steal. So you organize yourself to mitigate the level of stealing. So Uganda is not a normal case. It's not a normal case, and nobody should look at it as a normal case. But we have to try to make best of what we can do. Otherwise, if it's a question of, in Uganda's case, the scavengers are on the horizon. They are waiting for the old man to leave the scene, and they want to devour what he called that he.
Thank you very much, Mr. Akena. As always, I appreciate your time, and we look forward to speaking to you soon as you contest. Hopefully, you get back on the ballot box for the elections next year.